Hello, welcome to my speech about MRI, and my name is Asia. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The best way to describe an MRI machine is that it is the big, loud, scary spinning machine. If you don't know what an MRI machine actually is, it is a hollowed out tube laid down on its side that the patient will enter into. Before the patient can go in, they need to remove any metals, and then they're wearing just a nightgown, and then they lay down on their back, face up, while the machine does its thing. So, MRIs are helpful because they produce detailed anatomical position of the body. They also use a magnetic field to get the job done, and they also aid in helping with the decision of pre-surgery, or whether, if it's not surgery, just figuring out a diagnosis, what's going on. All right. So, to begin, MRIs are helpful in producing the anatomical position, or not the anatomical position, but a detailed anatomical images of the body. And by doing this, they show an in-depth 3D image by using magnets as a result. So one of my facts is from nibib.nih.gov, and they say that MRI is based on sophisticated technology that excites and detects the change in the direction of the rotational axis of protons found in the water that make up living tissues. So to put it in a more digestible way, all this means is that when using the MRI machine, they use magnets to detect what happens in your body on the molecular level at the water. So we're mainly made up of water, so that's why MRIs are pretty helpful, since they use the magnets and they can identify through looking at the water in the body. So they provide insight to the structures by providing the images, and how they're affected is by detecting the energy released in the protons, which realign with the magnetic field when they set off. So the time it takes for the protons to realign changes depending on the environment, and the chemical nature of the molecules are all MRI properties. Physicians are able to tell the difference between various types of tissues based on these magnetic properties. So it's a little more scientific information, but that's the most basic way to explain how to extract information and how they get it. So my next part is how MRIs use a magnetic field. So MRIs stand for magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. This is a type of scan that uses a strong magnetic field and radio waves to produce detailed images of the body. Unlike X-rays, they use no radiation to produce an image for the exam, since ionizing radiation is not used. So that's the radiation that's used for X-rays, but not for MRIs. Then, in a report I found on myssmi.com, they reported that after many more years of tireless research and testing, in 1977, the first MRI scan was successfully performed on a human patient. Then, as soon as the 80s, MRI machines became more compatible, and in a commonplace, they were spread across the hospitals and such, and the medical facilities around the world. So that was only 3 years after it was discovered. or I guess completely made, that was functioning. So that's pretty neat. And I feel like that's still kind of not relative, I guess, but recent. So anyways, a little bit more of some information. The magnet embedded within the MRI scanner can act on these positively charged hydrogen ions, or H+ ions, in the body and cause them to spin in an identical manner. By varying the strength and direction of this magnetic field, we can affect the spin of the protons, enabling us to build layers of the detail. So when the magnet is switched off, everything goes back to its normal phase. And during this time, that's when the MRI actually scans the activity to see how long it takes to get there, what exactly they're doing to get there. And then that's how the pictures are created and how they collect the data. So fundamentally, the different tissue types within the body, they return at different rates, to sum it up. Now on to our last part. MRIs aid in diagnosing any possible diseases or aiding in the help of making a pre-surgery decision. So with MRI magnets being so large, it actually equates to its strength. So it has a large exterior because it's has a very large strength to hold all that. So in a quote by Physiopedia.com, it says the strength of the magnet is measured in a unit called Tesla, T. Most MRI scanners used in hospitals and medical research clinics are about 1.5 or 3 Teslas. Putting that into perspective, the Earth's magnetic field is around 0.00006 Teslas. That is around 60,000 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field, which I actually think is pretty crazy. I don't understand how that's able to, I guess, function if the Earth is that low of a Tesla, but we're running Teslas much higher than that on the Earth. So I wonder if that's due to the atmosphere. But anyways, MRI machines are used to examine almost every part of the body. Every part that you can see, feel, it can detect anything in it once you go through the imaging process. So it can see the brain, the spinal cord, the heart, the blood vessels, the lungs, the joints, the bones, etc. MRI scanners can even be used to capture images of the brain related to consciousness, actual brain activity and thinking. And this is called functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI. So these images can then aid experts into therefore diagnosing diseases and conditions like breast cancer, heart disease, stroke, and many others. Now, in conclusion, altogether, I'm hoping by the end of this speech that you understood how MRIs are helpful in producing detailed imaging of the anatomical body, how they use their magnetic fields and why it's important, and aiding in diagnosing and helping with the decision of pre-surgery. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.